Welcome back. Next, let's drop in some draperies. We'll need some masking to separate the backstage areas and where we don't want the audience to look from the invented world that we're putting on the stage. So first you'll remember that we turned off our seating for some visibility in the front view. Let's turn that seating back on. And we can imagine using our line tool where audience members can see backstage. Now, we're just not going to be able to mask everything off perfectly in thrust view. And so some seats will be able to see things that maybe we otherwise wouldn't want them to see. But let's go ahead to the masking layer and let's put in some masking using a new tool that I'm going to introduce you to. In the Spotlight version, or the Spotlight workspace of Vectorworks, there's a section here for rigging. And within rigging, they've changed the label on this a little bit. Note it's in Event Design. And you'll find a rigging tool right here, a soft goods tool, not a rigging tool, soft goods tool right here. Click on that, and you'll be able to draw then by click, drag, click, and then click again, a piece of soft goods. And it will bring up a dialog box that will ask you some questions about, well, what are the drapery widths and heights here? And it will default to 10 feet wide, which is just pretty close to the width of our legs, and a 20-foot height, which is exactly the height of our legs. It has all kinds of other information associated with it as well, and that's really useful for some other functions of Vectorworks. But we're just going to click OK on these object properties, and it's going to plop that in right there. You'll notice when we look in isometric view then that those curtains are laid in automatically in an extrusion. They are a three-dimensional object, and like our lighting fixtures that we'll see in next semester's class, they already pre-exist as an object over here in these tools. Now, I want to show you another really powerful tool that we haven't used up to now. You use this in scenic construction a lot because so many things are symmetrical, as often is drapery. So let's go ahead and plop in our drapery symmetrically using the mirror tool. That's a tool right here. It looks like a couple triangles pointed to a center line. Float over it, see that it says mirror tool. I'm going to click on that. And anywhere out here that I draw a line, it's going to mirror that object or make a copy of that object on the other side of that line. So I'm going to go to the midpoint. This is my center line on stage. And click on it, pull it down, click again, and I have the mirrored object right there on the screen. If I X back out of that, then there's my mirrored object. If I select both of these, now I'm going to use another very powerful tool. I'm going to duplicate. I use this as a keyboard shortcut so often I think that I don't even know how to select it in the menu. I believe that's in the Edit menu. There it is, Control D, yes. I'm going to duplicate. And you may get an offset. We're going to take a look at that in class if you get it as an offset. My version, I've defaulted to making a copy right on top of the original. And that way I can type in how far I want to move it. And let's say that I want to move this 4 feet upstage. So I'm going to, using my Cartesian coordinates, move that 4 feet upstage, click OK. And that doesn't look quite right, does it? There's not a lot of space between those two. Pretty good for sight lines back here, though. Maybe I'll go ahead and move that again another foot or so upstage. Why not click and drag? Absolutely no reason not to, unless you want the precision of being able to call out the measurements. So I could have done that, but I wanted to show you and remind you of the tool used for moving objects on stage. So now we've got some masking thrown in there. We might build a back wall back here, hang some additional masking or what have you, but we've got something to play with. And that ends this lesson.